Hey guys, this is Alicia over at Legato Financial Group. In honor of Women's History Month, I have invited our investment advisor representative, Kylee Marcy from the Louisville office to join us. As well, I have compiled some of the most popular questions regarding women in finance. So, you ready to get started?
Absolutely.
All right,
Excited
perfect.
about it.
Perfect. Okay, one of the topics that we hear a lot about is the spousal wealth transfer. What is that?
So that's really referring to as our baby boomers are passing away. Statistically, women outlive men, and what we see in that generation is that the female spouse is younger than the male spouse. So after they pass away, the women inherit all of the wealth for that family, and they're in charge of making all of those decisions now.
What are the most prominent concerns from the woman at that point?
So many times we'll see that the male spouse has been handling their finances with the investment advisor or whomever they're working with, and the wife has been really separated from it. And they're taking over something they have no experience in, and they really need help from a trusted professional.
Say, what advice do you give to women that are either in that situation or, thinking long term with their spouse if I get to that situation?
So, if your spouse has passed away, then you're in the situation, but the best time to start getting involved is now. So even if your male spouse is handling all of your financial decisions, it's a great time to get involved with it. What we see right now is that 72% of women say that investing is set up to be confusing, and 53% say that the financial services industry doesn't fit into their lifestyle, their goals, or their realities. So it's important to go ahead and get on top of it while you can, so that while you're grieving, you're not trying to take over something that you've had no part in prior.
And completely learn a new piece of life. Yeah.
Absolutely. The sooner you can get involved, the better.
What do you think are the intrinsic differences between a male investor and a female investor? So a man versus woman.
I am so glad that you asked this question. Because historically, women outperform men in their investment accounts in every study that we see. The question is just by how much. So Fidelity did a study of over 5 million accounts in 2021, and they found that female investors outperformed male investors at 0.4%. And in the 90s, UC Berkeley did a study, and they found that female investors outperformed male investors at 1%. And the reason for this is because women generally have things that have been called soft skills in the past, or emotional intelligence. Generally, women have more patience. They have more willingness to confront mistakes. And they recognize when they need to ask for help. So when you take all of that into consideration, women are investing for the long term, and they're making decisions based on their holistic financial picture. And in the end, they come out winning. Now, all of that being said, while women's investment accounts outperform male accounts, women's investment account balances lag behind male account balances by up to 44% because of the gender wage gap, which makes sense too, because women aren't as confident in investing as men. We didn't have financial autonomy until 1974. You or I couldn't get a credit card in our own name until that year. So if anyone's a fan of Gloria Steinem said the unfinished work of feminism was closing that financial gap. So empowering us to make our own financial decisions and working to close that wage gap, but also that wealth gap.
So would you say education is key at this point? Ask the questions, interview experts, tap into all of your resources.
Well, really, you need to find a financial professional that will listen to you. That is the most important thing. And they'll listen to you, and they'll come up with a plan that does align with your lifestyle, your goals, and your reality.
That empathy.
That empathy is
we hear
very
a
important.
lot about that. Okay, so we're going to back up outside of the retirement years. What do you recommend to women who are starting their retirement savings?
That's exactly what I recommend. Start your
Start
retirement
saving.
savings. So the moment that you can and you're thinking about it, start putting away for retirement. Take advantage of any employer matches that you have in your 401k. Take full advantage of that. But really the most important thing is to start saving as early as you can. A way to demonstrate how much of a difference that can make is an investor that starts saving $100 in their retirement account monthly at age 25. By age 65, assuming an 8% growth rate, would have over $335,000 at age 65 in retirement. An investor that begins saving $200 a month at age 35, so 10 years later, but saving double a month, would have about $293,000, a little more, assuming that same 8% growth rate. But that 25-year-old investor has contributed $48,000 total and has over $335,000. But the 35-year-old investor has contributed $72,000 total and still has less.
Almost double that and still has less.
Still has less.
Yeah.
So time in the market is what will help you the most.
Yes. Okay, that makes good sense. Okay, what percent of women manage their portfolios?
So this is really interesting because that we see women are very comfortable managing everyday financial tasks such as paying bills. 92% of women do that for their household. Balancing a household budget, 87% of women do that for their household. But when we look at investing, only about half, 53% of women feel confident managing investments, and only 44% of women feel confident that they're building a balanced portfolio either on their own or working with a professional that is building an appropriately balanced portfolio.
My goodness. Okay, so what percent of women invest in the stock market?
So when we look at investors investing in the stock market, what we will do is take out that percentage of people that are investing in their company 401k. So when we look outside of that, as of 2018, 44% of women in the U.S. were investing in vehicles in the stock market outside of their company 401k. In 2021, they looked at that number again, and it was up to 67%.
67%.
Yes, a huge jump in 3 years, which is fantastic. It just means that more women are feeling more confident about investing.
Wow, very impressive. Okay, wonderful. Well, we are going to continue to take feedback and understand more about this topic, and questions are still being submitted to us, just basic questions, and it comes on different levels. Women that are in the capacities to start investing, women that are starting out, women in situations that they wouldn't have anticipated, as we discussed, like that spousal, transfer. If you have questions, please send them to us. You can submit them to us on Facebook. You can send them to the info@legatofinancial.com. Give us a call. Like, our advice, that's what you do. You give advice and you help guide people. So you build on those questions and put things together, put things in place. So we really appreciate what you do. We're glad to have you here with us. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Alicia. Thanks for watching.